The agenda of today's video is learning the object level security and record level security. And on the basis of combination of both of them, learning how and what access do a user have when he has a combination of the object level and record level security. So let's quickly start. Let's quickly go to the object level security. Object level security can be controlled through profiles or permission sets. Now, these are the four possible values for an object that you can have. Read, it means you can read an existing object's record. Create, it means you can create a new record for a particular object. Edit, it means you can edit an existing object record. And delete means you can delete an existing object record. Now, let's suppose there are two users in my org. So going back to my org, one user is myself, Namrata Vora, and the other user is test SFDC user. This user's profile is standard clone. So let me go to the profile. This is that profile. And in this profile, I have just given read access for now on accounts object. So in our example, we are going to look at the account object as an example. So let's say on the account object, I've given read permission on the profile. Now, in the object level security, you can give the most restrictive or baseline access on the profiles. So let's say 10 people in your org need read access on account object. So what will we do is we'll create a profile and assign that profile to these 10 people. Now, these 10 people will have read access on account because of the profile level access. But let's say now 2 people need edit access as well. So creating a new profile just for 2 users is not a good practice in Salesforce. So then what is the other option? The other option is that we create a permission set and give edit access on that permission set. So going back to my org, here is the permission set, and I have created a permission set named edit on accounts, and I've given read and edit permission on the account object. Now I will assign this permission set to this user, test SFDC user. So this is what I have written over here in this example, that this user, now I'm going to talk to you in all scenarios in terms of being logged in as test SFDC user. So I am trying to say here is that in test SFDC user's profile, the read permission is given, and in the permission set that he is assigned, he has the edit permission. Now there is a record in my org called as Zara account record. So let me go and show it to you. Here it is. And the owner of this record is test SFDC user. So that's what I have written over here. The owner is test SFDC user for this account. Now on the basis of profiles and permission sets, we'll determine what all can he do on his account. So let's say the profile is the base level permission. Now, if you want to open up the permission, you give an additional permission in the permission set, right? So it always opens up the access in this direction. The base level or restrictive permission could be in profile, and it could be opened up using permission set. Now, let's say if he gets read permission through the profile and edit through permission set. Now, what all can he do on Zara? He can read the edit, the Zara record, as in he can see the detail page of the Zara record, and he can edit Zara record as well. Now here, because he has read and edit from profile and delete from permission, he can do all these 3 things. Now here, because he has no access on the profile, so let's make it this way actually. Okay. So let's say he has no access on the profile. Okay, so it would be no access. But before that, you also need to see if the permission set gives him access. No, here the permission set is also not giving him access. So he will not be able to see the account tab at all. So forget about seeing Zara record. Next is read and edit. So he can read and edit because of the profile level permission. But can he delete the record? Yes. Additionally, he can delete because permission set gives him this permission. Coming to this. Now on the basis of profile, he gets no access, but he has a permission set too. So what does the permission set allow him to do? Read and edit. So that's why he'll be able to read and edit the Zara account record. Now next is again, read and edit is given through profile and delete is given through permission set. So he can do read, edit, delete. So this is about how the profile and permission set works. Profiles, restrictive, permission sets opens up the access. Now let's suppose we add one more scenario here wherein the profile gave read edit access, but the permission set gave no access. Then what would happen? So basically remember one thing, that permission set is only used to open up the access. If this one gives a restrictive access as compared to this, then that does not apply. So what do I mean to say here is, because the profile already gives you the read edit permission, he will already have read and edit permission. Now, because he has no access in the permission set, nothing else gets added. But that does not mean that if I have no access over here, this access will get revoked. No, this is the baseline access which surely he'll get. And if there is no additional access, that wouldn't get added up. That's it. Now let's suppose one more account gets added in my org and the account name is Columbia. Now the owner is me, okay? But let's say I'm logged in as test SFDC user now. So what can he do on someone else's account? Can he read it? Can he edit it? Can he do what? Okay. So that is determined by row level, record level security. So remember these two rules. The first rule says, for your own records, just check for the permissions on the profile, not the record level security. Now, what do I mean by that? When I'm logged in as, so by the way, I'm just going to talk about being logged in as test SFDC user. So for him, the owner is like, he's the owner of Zara account. So when he's looking into his own record, he just has to check for the permission on the profile, not the record level security. So these permissions that we gave were according to the profiles and the permission set. But let's say next one, for others records. Now Columbia is my record, correct? And if test SFDC user looks at it, what access does he get? So for others record, Salesforce first checks the record level security and then tally if those permissions are granted in the profile. Now, what do I mean by that? What is record level security? So OWD is one of the record level security. Possible values of that are private, public read only, and public read write. Now in the OWD, when the access is given as private, it means one user like test SFDC user cannot see other users account record because this is on account, let's suppose. That's the meaning of private. Public read only. It means test SFDC user will be able to, or any user in fact, will be able to at least read. What do we mean by read? At least go to the record detail page of account of anyone else. Like if anyone else is the owner, he can at least go and view that page. And when I say public read write, it means it gives the access for anyone's record to be read and to be edited and deleted, because the write means edit plus delete. Okay. So these are the meaning of OWD. But now that's what I'm saying, that you cannot only consider OWD. You have to consider a combination of both OWD plus the object level access. So what does it say here? For others records, first check the record level security and then tally of this if those permissions are granted in the profile. So let's go one by one. So on his own account, he does not need to look at the OWD at all. But for others records now, sharing setting comes into picture. So let's say if the sharing setting is private, okay? In that case, what will happen is, for Columbia, which is owned by someone else, what all can test SFDC user do? So first he'll go to the OWD because that's what is written here, record level security as in OWD. So it is private, so he has no access. So there is no point even going to his profile. Next is again private. So he won't even go and check in the profile. So it would be no access again. Now the next is public read only. So again, we'll read this for others record. First, check the record level security. What does it give? Read. Okay. And then tally if read permission is granted in the profile as well or not. Is it granted in the profile? No. So that's why he cannot even read. So it's like he has no access. Now here again, it's public read only. Okay. So let's go and check if he has read access in the profile. Does he have a read access? Yes. He has edit and delete also, but because we are first going to look at this, only this access again will be checked in profile. So if it is read, we'll only check for read. So he can just read. So it means first you have to check what OWD gives you, only that much you can do. So now public read write. Okay. Now, if he has public read write, it means the OWD allows him to edit, delete, and read someone else's record also. Now we'll go and check in the profile if he has that access. No, in profile he does not have. But in the permission set he has, right? Read and edit. But delete is not there. So that's why he can only read and edit. Now, again, there is read, public read write permission through the sharing setting. So now he'll go to the profile and check if he has read, edit, and delete access. Read and edit he has through profile and delete through permission set. So he can do all the three operations. Got it? So for others record, first check the record level security. Only this much you have to tally if that is provided in the profile or not. If you have that much, then those operations can be performed. Now coming to opening up the record level access. Just like I told you in the object level security, how you can have restrictive access in the profiles. And if you want to open up the access, you use permission sets. Similarly, in the record level security also, the baseline access is defined by OWD. Let's say if we want to open up the access, then how can we do it? Using role hierarchy. Okay. Now, what do I mean by this? Okay. So let's suppose in my org, I have two roles, CEO at the top level, and below that CEO role, I have CFO. So let's suppose this is how people are assigned to the roles. This user, test SFDC user, is above me in the role hierarchy and I'm below him. So when a person is above me in the role hierarchy, right? And if I have granted access using hierarchy, it means I have checked this checkbox in the, here it is. So if I have checked the grant access using hierarchy for account object, it means it is going to respect the role level hierarchy. So according to the role level hierarchy, this user is above me and I am below him. Now what when the role hierarchy is enabled? What when grant access using hierarchy is checked? So for that, there is this rule. So I'm reading it aloud for you. When a person is above you in the hierarchy and the grant using hierarchy is checked for that object. So it means this user is above me and grant using hierarchy is checked for the account object. The one above you can do all the things to your records like he can do on his own records. Now, what do I mean by this? So let's say if I'm logged in as test SFDC user and if he's above me in the role hierarchy, and even if the OWD is set to private, doesn't matter. Now you no longer need to see the OWD because now according to the role hierarchy, if he's above you in the role hierarchy, he can do everything on your account record like he can do on his own record. So thus, even when the OWD is private, what all can he do on his own account? Read and edit. So he'll be able to do the same operations on my account. So I can say that I can copy all these things over here if I have grant using hierarchy as true for account object. Okay. So I'm assuming that in all these scenarios, it was true. And one more fact you need to know about it is the grant using hierarchy, I'm sorry, 1 minute, will always be true for the standard objects. And this is something that you cannot control. If you would have the control that you have for grant using hierarchy. See, this is disabled. You cannot check or uncheck it. It will always respect role level hierarchy for the standard objects. But for custom objects, it's up to you. So let's say if I'm talking about a custom object in my org called as book, if I remove the role level hierarchy, it means now it wouldn't respect the role hierarchy. So this that is happening, right? Even if he's above me in the role hierarchy, and if the grant using hierarchy is not checked, he cannot see my records. It means this does not apply anymore. Even if he's above me in the hierarchy, he still has to go according to the combination of OWD and permission and profile. He cannot access my records like his own. Got it? Now, in the previous example, what we had done was test SFDC user was at a role called CEO, which was above me in the hierarchy and I was below him. But now I've swapped the roles. Now I am at a higher hierarchy level, which is CEO, and test SFDC user is below me. Now, even though the grant using hierarchy is true, can he see my records? No, because he's below me in the hierarchy. So now what do I do if I want to share the records with this user? So next level to open up the access is our sharing rules. So just like you are able to open up the access from profiles to permission set, similarly, I can open up the access on top of role hierarchy by using sharing rules. Now there are two kinds of sharing rules. First is owner based and second is criteria based. So first, let us consider the owner-based sharing rule. So right now, I'm just focusing on owner-based sharing rule. Now, what do I mean by owner-based sharing rule? So let me go to my org and show you that I already have a sharing rule which I have created, which is this one. So let me open that sharing rule for you and show you what I have done. I have created an owner-based sharing rule and I'm saying that whichever accounts are owned by members of role CEO, as in my example, I am the CEO. So whichever accounts are owned by me are to be shared with people in the role CFO. So it is to be shared with test SFDC user because he is in the role CFO. And what level of access do I have to give? I have to give read only access on account. So now here I'll add one more column for sharing rule. Now what access does it give? Sorry, read only. Okay. So let's go through it one by one. So now let's say the OWD is private, but because I said you can move this way and it opens up the access. So now we'll consider this one. This is the most generous access that is provided. Now again, because it's for someone else's record, you have to consider both this and the profile and permission. So this gives you read permission. So according to this and the combination of this, you will be able to read. Correct? So let me remove these things and let me rewrite it. Now it just gives read. So edit won't count. We'll just have to check whether read is there on the profile or not. It is there. So I would say read. Next is OWD is private and the sharing rule gives you read access. So you will be able to read someone else's record. Private won't be considered because there is a more open access now, which is read. So read and then tally if read is there. Yes, it is there. So I'll give read permission. Now let's say again, next is read. If the OWD gives public read only, and if the sharing rule also gives read only, so it means it will consider this read only and it will go to the profile and permission set. But the permission set does not give them read access also. So here it would be no access. Now going to the next scenario. Again, the OWD is public read only. That's why we have to take into consideration the sharing rule. Even this gives the read only access. So read, let's confirm if read is there in the profile. Yes, it's there. So I'll say read. Now there is a slight twist in the last ones. What is the twist? So now the sharing setting itself gives the most generous access, right? Public read write. So we don't even have to consider the sharing rules. No need of sharing rules, right? Because like I said, it cannot restrict the access like this. It can just open up. So when OWD is only giving you the read and write permission, these things cannot restrict it. So what all will it have? Read, write, and edit according to the record level security. Now let's check in profile and permission set. Do they have read, write, and delete? No, it has no access in the profile, but in the permission set, it gives the read and edit. So that's why read and edit. Coming to the next, again, the OWD itself gives read, right? So that's the most generous access. So we'll consider that. So read and write, it means read, edit, and delete. Let's see. Read and edit through profile and delete through permission set. So we can do read, edit, delete. Okay. So this was the thing through sharing rule, and this was owner-based sharing rule. Now let's say in the owner-based sharing rule, I would have given public read write instead of read only. Now, what do I mean by that? Here, instead of read only, I would have given public read write. So then let's see what would happen. Here it would remain the same. And let's go here. Okay. So let's check. Now, when the sharing rule gives you read and write, it means read, edit, delete. Does it give edit, read and delete? No, it just gives read and edit. So we'll write read, edit. Now the next one is read, write again. So let's go here. Read, edit, delete. Okay, so we'll have all the three. Read, edit, delete. Going next. Again, read, edit, delete. Let's check if it has read, edit, delete. No, it does not give access. So here it will be no access. Next one. Again, it gives read, edit, delete. Now, why I'm saying edit and delete for write? Because I hope you all remember, we said that write means edit and delete. So read, edit, and delete on the record level security. Let's go here. Does it give read, edit, and delete on the object level? Yes. The profile, it gives read, edit. On the permission, it gives delete. So I would say read, edit, and delete on this one. And for this, it remains unchanged because sharing setting itself give us read, write access. Now, this is about the owner-based sharing rule. Let's say I am changing this to criteria-based sharing rule. Now, what do I mean by that? First, let me remove these results. Okay. Now, we covered the owner-based sharing rule. Now, coming to the criteria-based. So, let's say our owner-based sharing rule said that if there are any records which are owned by people in CEO should get shared with people in role CFO. Now let's suppose I change the role of this user and I make the role of this user as there is one more role, let's suppose in my org, which is CIO, right? Now, because this user is no longer in the CFO, the criteria, the owner-based sharing rule will give access to the people in this role, but not this user, right? Because now this user's role is CIO. So what if now I want to share the records with this user? So let's say I go with a criteria-based sharing rule. So let me show you a criteria-based sharing rule that I have in my org. So here it is. Okay, this is a criteria-based sharing rule in my org. Now, what does it say? So it is saying that all the accounts whose billing country is equals to USA needs to get shared with people in the role. Let me delete this rule actually and create a new one to show you guys. So if I want to create a new criteria-based sharing rule, I would say okay, and let's say this time I'm going to make it on the basis of a criteria. Let's say that the billing country that I would select, if that is equals to USA, then I want to share it with people in the role CIO. Okay. And what access do I want to give? Read and write. So I'll do save. Okay. Now, because of the criteria based sharing rule, let's suppose that this record Colombia has billing country equals to USA. Now, because the billing country is USA, it will give public read and write access to this user, because I said that if the account's billing country is equal to USA, share it with the people in role CIO. So again, it will get shared with test SFDC user. Okay. And what level of access? Again, let's do it. Read, edit, delete. Let's confirm if it is there in his profile and permission set. Read, edit, but no delete. So I would say read and edit. Next is read, write and edit. Sorry, read, edit and delete again. Read, edit and delete. Is it there in his profile? Yes, it is there. So I would say read, edit and delete gets copied here. The next is again read and write. So read, edit and delete. Let's see if he has in the profile permission set. No, he doesn't have. So it would be like no access. Coming back to next one. Read, edit and delete. Okay, so let's check read, edit and delete is there or not. Yes, it is there. So giving it on the record. So this is about sharing rule. And if it would have been read only, you guys know it, right? How to do it now. Now let's suppose that the billing country of the account, Colombia, is not USA. Let's suppose it is some other country. So now neither the sharing rule, like owner based sharing rule, will apply because he's at the role CIO, and nor the criteria based sharing rule will apply, because what sharing rule we had, if the account billing country is equal to USA, then only share those records with SSFDC user. Now we are assuming that the billing country of Colombia is anything other than USA. Now if I want to open up the access further, then how do I do it? So the final level of opening up the access can be done with manual sharing. Let's say there is one particular record like this one, the Colombia record. This particular record, if I want to share with test SFDC user, then I can do it with the help of manual sharing. Now, what is that? I go to the org and I am on the Colombia account. Now I'll click on sharing. So let's suppose I'm sharing it with test SFDC user. And what level of access do I want to give on account? Let's say I want to give read-only access. So I have chosen read over here. So let's take an example of what would happen and how things would work. So let me insert a column here for manual sharing, and that is giving read permission. Okay. So now in the case of OWD is private and sharing rule says public read, right? But because the sharing rules doesn't apply, so now we'll consider this as the most generous access. This will be the most generous access that is applicable. So now when it is read and permission gives read permission, sorry, profile gives read permission. So that's why we'll say read is allowed on Colombia. Again, next one is read. Let's see if he has read edit a read permission in the profile. Yes, he does. So again, read. The next is again read. Does he have read on the profile or permission set? No. So this would be no access. Coming here again, read. So does he have read permission? Yes, he does. So read. Okay. Now let's suppose we would have changed this one to share manual sharing to read and write. Then what would happen? So let's consider that now. Okay, coming here. Now read and write, it means read, edit, delete. Read and edit is given. So I have to copy this read and edit. Again, read, edit, delete. So coming here, read, edit, delete, all three are there. So copy this. Again, read, edit and delete. So here, but there's no access. So no access. Now coming here, again, read, edit and delete. So coming here, read, edit and delete is there. So copying it. So that's about it. And that's about the security part.